Welcome back to 101 East. We are speaking exclusively with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Your dialogue with China has at the moment come to a standstill. What do you think it would take to make that dialogue go forward?
The Chinese concerned officials and the leaders, once they look Tibet issue from a more wider perspective and a long-term interest, then they have to sort of start dialogue. The present situation, neither good for Chinese or people from China as a whole and Tibetan, and very bad for image of China, particularly the present president of people from China, Hu Jintao, emphasizes the importance of harmonious society. It's absolutely right, very important. But then, if you look realistically, then the way to promote harmonious society, not by using force, but by trust. Unity, harmony, entirely based on trust. Trust come sort of respect others' right. Otherwise difficult. So therefore, recent sort of these policy is to say not using common sense or holistic view just out of their fear, their anger.
How much do you think that perhaps you, as an international person, contributes to this fear, to this anxiety that China has towards Tibet? After all, you are a very controversial figure towards for the Chinese authorities. Do you sometimes fear that perhaps you may be getting in the way of the Tibetan cause?
Well, sometimes I do feel, if they really, you see, they sort of, although now these negotiations, these are mainly carried by elected political leadership. Of course, they ask me my suggestions or my views, but still, this is my name. In case it becomes something hindrance, then I'm ready to withdraw from that. We are really willing to remain with the People's Republic of China for our own interest. Tibet, backward country, materially very, very backward. Meantime, every Tibetan want to modernize Tibet. No, so therefore, it's still, I believe, within People's Republic of China, as far as material development is concerned, we get greater benefit, including railway link. These are, if Tibet remains separate, impossible. But within the People's Republic of China, these things will happen. Now, politically, we should have meaningful autonomy so that it is guarantee for preservation of our culture, our language, our spirit.
You are warmly received in most countries that you go to. You are invited around the world. But with the gradual economic and political rise of China on the international stage, do you expect this warm welcome perhaps to start cooling with international leaders trying to court Chinese economic and political relationships?
Oh, so my sort of main relation is with the public. That, of course, won't change. If I behave, if I go something wrong way, then they may lose. But so long, my sincerity, my sincere, honest, truthful remain there. I think public level will not change. The government level, even past, sometimes they rather hesitant meeting our meeting. Some cases, like German Chancellor and American the President and English, British Prime Minister, and so on, and later you see the French President also. Now, sometimes they are quite bold, sometimes a little hesitant. That even is a past also take place. But my side, I don't want to create any inconvenience, anybody. My main commitment is promotion of human value and promotion of religious harmony. These two things are my main sort of interest, my main sort of commitment.
The Tibetan cause, and you yourself, have been used as a, shall we say, a political tool against China. After 50 years of going around the world promoting the Tibetan cause to international leaders, international communities, influential people, are you disappointed that these allies have done nothing for the Tibetan cause?
I think my personal and also the Tibetan cause used for anti-Chinese, I don't think. Obviously, it is government level is very, very concerned. They are close relation with China. But then because of the public and also media, sometimes it's the government, obviously some government leader is not meeting me, a lot of criticism in media like that. So therefore, I think the media and the public generally, I always describe as those supporter of Tibet issue. I do not consider they are pro-Tibet, but pro-justice. So long as the Tibet issue remain as a just issue, the support will remain. That's I'm quite sure.
So your struggle for 50 years has been long and has been very hard. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
I don't think. And if this circumstances, I think no different way of approach. I think we've done our best, and also I think under the circumstances, I think that's the only way. Then Tibet also, the generations past change, but Tibetan spirit inside Tibet very, very strong. And always they look here, physically controlled by Chinese, but mentally look towards free countries, but particularly India, where major Tibetan settlement is, and unity among entire 6 million Tibetan, extraordinarily, very, very strong. And that mainly because of Chinese officials' behavior. The more ruthless, more sort of negative, more unity among Tibetans.
Can I then just put it to you, perhaps they are unified because of you, because of your charisma, because of your fight, your strength, your spirit, they are unified. What happens when you are no longer around?
Now here is some Tibetan, inside as well as outside, very critical about Buddhism. So sometimes, you see, these people have some criticism towards me also. But as far as unity, a Tibetan is very strong. That means this unity not only by Dalai Lama, but by Chinese ruthless occupation.
You've done a lot to publicize the Tibetan cause, and no doubt your successor will have some very, very big shoes to fill. Have you picked a successor?
Oh, very clear. I'm not dictator. I'm not communist dictator. If I'm communist dictator or dictator Dalai Lama, then I have to pick up my successor. But as far as the political leadership is concerned, as I mentioned, since 2001, we already elected political leadership. So whether there is Dalai Lama or not, every 5 years, through election, leader come. Then the spiritual side, the old Tibetan Buddhist community, Buddhist sort of tradition, young generation, age 20, 30, like that, very healthy, young spiritual leaders now coming. So I have no worry.
You've spent a majority of your life fighting for the Tibetan cause. If or when you are reincarnated, which you believe you will be, what do you hope to come back as?
I don't know. I am Buddhist. The day-to-day life should be utilized sincerely, add some benefit to others. I don't care about long future, my own life. Doesn't matter. One of my favorites of prayer is, so long space remain, so long sentient beings suffering remain, I will remain in order to serve. So that's my determination. I always pray that like that.
Your Holiness, thank you very much for speaking with us. And that's all the time we have. We have been speaking exclusively with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Join us again next week on 101 East.